Right now, we have with us another young Indian as part of the Voice of the Young series. Hello, everyone. Good to be back. Right now, we have with us Snehaja Kadam. Let's listen to her. Over to you, Snehaja.
So firstly, thank you so much for having me on this platform. I think it's a great initiative, especially for students who are just starting their journey. And I'm really excited to be part of this initiative. So I think I can start with a brief introduction about myself and then move on to my journey and how I got into economics, if that's all right.
Yeah, let's go.
So hello, everyone. I am Snehaja. I'm from Pune and I've completed my bachelor's in economics from Fergusson College. And I'm currently pursuing my master's in international business economics and finance from Gokhale Institute of Politics and Economics in Pune. So talking about my journey, I would say it was totally unplanned and full of experiments. So going back to way back to 10th standard, I remember even after the results were announced, I was still confused whether to go ahead with science or commerce. So I was inclined more towards commerce, but the narrative of science being the safer option was still in my head. So because I didn't know what exactly to do, I was confused between those two options. But luckily, I think I made the right choice and I went ahead with commerce. And it was during 11th and 12th that I got my first exposure of economics. And during those years, I think I was lucky enough to have teachers who really helped me build that interest and curiosity in the subject. And the most important part of economics, I think, was the practical aspect of it. Whatever we read was something that I could experience in my day-to-day life. So that is what interested me the most. And so even after 12th, again, the question came as to what next and how to go about it, whether even if I choose economics, how to, like, what college and what are the different career aspects. So it was a slightly risky option. Maybe I think because of the lack of guidance. So rather, if I had chosen, let's say, engineering or medical, I could list down 10 to 12, 10 to 20 relatives and family friends right now who could guide me through it. But that was not the case when it comes to economics. And I think many students can also relate to this issue. So because of that, I felt like that was a risky option. But I think I'm lucky enough to have parents who have been supportive throughout. Even though I didn't know what exactly I was doing and I didn't have it all planned out, they've been nothing but supportive throughout. And they've never discouraged me or forced any of their opinions. So they've always been there to guide me through it, but they've made sure that the final decision was mine. So I think that really helped build that confidence in myself as well. So I finally decided to go ahead with economics. And during graduation, I was sure that these 3 years, I need to experiment and try out different things so that I knew what is it that I want to do. So the first year I did something rather unconventional, I'd say. I took up French and I did 2 levels of French till A2. And that's when COVID. So suddenly I felt like the online classes weren't that interactive or fun. So I thought of putting that on pause and I started looking up on the other options of the courses that I could do, which could which could be a good combination. So, and that is exactly when IIT Madras actually launched their online BSc degree in data science and programming. And I vividly remember reading the advertisement which said no JE required and commerce and arts students can also apply. So the moment I read that, I knew that I had to apply. I didn't care what the results were or how was it going to be. I think just being part of that prestigious institute and that experience that I could see. So I applied right away for it. And after a month of training from their support team itself, we had the qualifier and I luckily got in. But surprisingly, the the qualifier exam wasn't as difficult as I thought it would be. So that was it. And then I think the flexibility that the program provided in the way that we were allowed to choose how many subjects we wanted, which subjects we wanted. So that flexibility helped me balance both of the degrees together. So yeah, and then
Well, let me
came the
stop you
third
there.
year.
Just let me stop you. It's incredible, actually, to sit here and smile and say, I was just doing 2 degrees together. One from Gokhale, one from IIT. What's the deal? I said, well, that's a very big deal. Congratulations for your
Thank you so much.
initiative and your success. It's amazing. Anyway, let's continue.
Thank you so much, sir. So yeah, those things were happening, and then came third year of bachelor's, when again that sort of chaotic moment came of deciding what next again. So again, there was that decision point of either going ahead with corporate or masters. I knew that I wanted to do a master's, but I also felt maybe a year or two of experience could help in. But the sort of jobs that were available at the time wasn't exactly something I was interested in.
Well,
So
could
I
you give
decided to
an
go ahead.
example of what were the jobs that were available, but you weren't interested in?
So the campus placement actually wasn't that efficient, mainly because it was the COVID, we were the COVID batch. So mainly HR positions were coming in at that time. So I felt like those weren't positions where I would be able to apply what I've learned. And there was just too much more to learn. So I decided to go ahead with the master's. And yeah, fast forward to August 2023, I started my master's. And during this summer, I was fortunate enough to get the opportunity to intern at NABARD.
Yeah. Okay. What else? And there's a lot behind all of this, which you haven't told us yet. So please do so.
So talking about the internship, I would say that was one of a very unique experience, because that was my first offline proper internship. I have done 2 internships before this as well. So one was as a content writing intern with a YouTube channel, which I really looked up onto, and another was as an equity research intern. But both of these were online, so I didn't get the full-fledged experience as such. So the NABARD internship was the one that I count as my first internship. And there I got a position in the Department of Economic Analysis and Research. And I was working on a project titled Innovative Financing Model for the Farmer Producer Organization and Agri Value Chain. So if we look at the current scenario, more than 85% of the farmers are small and marginal farmers. And that brings a lot of issues, mainly challenges related to the access to finance, access to markets, and technology. So a possible solution here could be the farmer producer organization, which can be seen like a perfect blend between corporate as well as the cooperative structure, wherein the farmers would come together and the collective bargaining power could be used both in the input as well as the output market. So NABARD, being the apex institution, has been promoting these FPOs for more than a decade, I think. And the government of India also recently launched the Center Sector Scheme in 2021, which aimed in the formulation and the formulation of around 10,000 FPOs. So this just emphasized how important the FPOs can be in the agricultural landscape. But one of the main issues that they faced was the finance. So I looked up at both the demand as well as the supply side of this issue. And the demand side was at different stages and they require different products. So there were a lot of the FPOs at the initial stages mainly required capital for things like registration and those things, which were getting fulfilled by institutions like NABARD through their schemes. It's when they moved on to the second stage, when they were planning on setting up things like the input business, which is a relatively easier part, is when they started facing problems, because banks weren't ready to loan out because of the lack of collateral or lack of history. So that's when the issue started creeping up.
Okay. And did you find any solutions for it, or you are just telling us these are the problems?
So no, after we did come up with a few recommendations. So after the demand side, we also looked at the supply side of the credit that is currently available. So there are mainly organizations like NAPKISAN, which is a subsidiary of NABARD. So it did provide loans at a very low interest rate, but the problem there was the documentation that NAPKISAN required was maybe something that these small FPOs didn't have. So that was an issue. Then commercial banks obviously were slightly reluctant. Then RRBs were similar to NAPKISAN, and then there were NBFCs which were good at lending, but the interest rate was way too high, around 24%. So after looking at this scenario, so after 1 month of the literature review and all, I was sent for a field visit where I did get a chance to visit around 9 to 10 FPOs from 2 different districts. And I think that was one of the experiences which I'll never forget, because I got to interact with people at the ground level, understand the reality. It almost felt like I felt like whatever I've learned in textbook is way different from what is actually going on in practice. So that was a really different experience for me. And so after the field visits, I did come up with different recommendations.
Okay, what else?
I think other than this, I would come back to the IIT degree that I was doing, because that was another unique experience. There I learned a lot of new. So the main reason why I started with it was because of the interest that I developed in stats during my bachelor's. And data science at its core is again statistics. So that's why I joined the program. But once I did join, I realized that there would be difficult subjects like programming coming up, which is something I've never done. And I was slightly skeptical of learning subjects like these online. But again, I think I was really grateful to have found peers online who helped me understand these concepts and helped me navigate through the entire course. So yeah, that was also a great experience.
And did you complete it?
Yes, so actually it's interestingly, they've made a multiple entry and multiple exit option. So
okay.
Earlier I was planning to do the entire degree, so complete the BSc degree, but because my master's was slightly getting hectic, so I decided to do it up till the diploma stage itself. So I completed the diploma in data science, and now I've discontinued it.
Okay, wonderful. And do you do anything for fun at all, or work is fun?
No. I do play badminton. I enjoy playing badminton, and I also enjoy drawing and painting, but I haven't done that in quite a long time.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, you want to tell us something about your college life?
Yes, sir. So other than this, I think during COVID, I got another chance to be part of an NGO, which is Sathi, which is basically a student-run NGO in Fergusson. And the aim of that NGO is to help the blind students with their academics. So there I was able to interact with one of our seniors who was preparing for a UPSC interviews. So basically she would tell me a topic, and I was supposed to read up upon it, and then we would have a discussion. So those discussions were also something that I think really helped me understand topics in depth and understand how their mindset, the UPSC aspirants' mindsets is, and how they approach things.
Yeah. Okay. Wonderful. All right. Any tips you have for your juniors?
I think I would have 2 tips. The first one would be to try different things. If you do have the time and the resources, then definitely try out as many things as possible. And the second tip would be to be flexible. So it's definitely important to have a goal. But I think at the same time, in today's day and age, when everything is just changing so drastically at such a rapid pace, it is important for us to be flexible with our goals so that we are able to adapt with the changing times.
Wonderful. Okay, that's indeed be flexible, I think, is very important because the whole world is changing all the time. So if you are not flexible, you are likely to be stuck. Right?
Exactly.
COVID hit. Who knew it would hit? You took up the data science. Who knew it existed? If there was no COVID, you would have never found out about it, right? So you adapted, right? Say, okay, I can't do French, I can do something. So you showed that flexibility. That's great. Okay, what are your own plans?
So actually, we did have our campus placements going on a few months before this. So during that, I have got placed in JP Morgan Chase, and I'll be joining them in next year as an analyst.
Next year meaning? And
after I complete my master in around June or July, I'll be joining JP Morgan. Sir, I think you're on.
Yeah, I was on mute. Okay, so that's a good job. I'm sure it's well paying. But you want to be in corporate, or is that an interim step?
I see this as a first step to understand what all options I have, and hopefully I'll get to apply all the learnings that I've got through these years. And yeah, I see it more as a stepping stone.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much. Anything else you want to add here?
No, sir, I think that's all.
Okay, so thank you, Snehaja. Let's end it here and say bye to the viewers. We'll catch up with you in 1 year when you are in JP Morgan Chase and see how you are feeling and what you have learned in that time. Till then, let's say bye to the viewers. And I'll talk to you, as always, with every speaker after the recording. Okay? Bye to everybody. Bye.